All right, welcome back. If you've never been here before, this is Keystone Preparedness and Outdoors. Wanted to do this video. I know there's a lot of different preparedness channels and survival channels, and you're going to hear a million different scenarios of how to get started, and possibilities of the worst disasters, and a lot of fear mongering, things like that. But I'd like to just kind of get back to the basics a little bit. If you're just kind of realizing how bad things are, as far as like food shortages and things like that, and you want to kind of get ahead of the game a little bit, and you figure, well, maybe you'll get started. It can be a little bit daunting when you really start watching some of the videos and the channels. Now, there's some really good ones, and I would encourage you to find the ones that you're most comfortable with. But the best thing I can say is figure out what it is. Why do you want to be prepared for? Is it just because the food prices are going up, because you want to be ready in case of a job loss, economic problems, the worst case scenario, World War III, whatever. Figure that out first, and maybe don't dive head first and just start going crazy and buying roomfuls of guns and ammo and 50 cases of Spam. Kind of assess things a little bit. Kind of figure out where you stand now, as far as what you already have. If you've already had, maybe you have a few things around the house. Maybe you're already a hunter, maybe you're already a fisherman. Maybe you already got a shotgun and a pistol or whatever. And you want to get started on that end of it. That's fine. But assess what you have. Start like that. Kind of go through your house, maybe organize a spot that you want to start, maybe putting a little bit of food away, maybe some supplies. Everybody, when you talk about this, everybody thinks, like you said, I got to go buy 10 cases of Spam, and, I've got to have a, freezer full of this, and I have to have, 20 years worth of freeze-dried food on the shelves. That's not reality for most people in general. I mean, most of us get started just, wanting to maybe better ourselves a little bit, maybe keep things a little quieter, times get lean, or, there's some shortages or anything like that. That's a very real possibility. That's, because nobody really knows what the end game is here. You hear people talk about, oh, World War III is going to start on Monday, or, oh, the grid's going down on Friday, or, we've got to be ready for it. The reality of it is nobody really knows. We're just trying to do the right thing and maybe try to hedge our bets a little bit better. If a scenario does happen that causes some devastation, maybe, I don't know, maybe you live in a hurricane zone, maybe you live in a tornado zone, whatever that is, I mean, because there's a lot of man-made, or natural made disasters as far as tornadoes, earthquakes, whatever, that can cause, maybe even worse than human-made disasters, because those come and you can't prepare for them. They just kind of happen. I mean, you could be prepared, but there's no stopping it. There's no control over that. So, kind of keep that in mind when you're going. What I would say is, if you decide, well, I want to put in some extra food away, do an inventory of what you already have. See what you have in your house, and, kind of get a plan like that. Maybe you have a closet that you can set aside and you can start storing some food. Before you go out and buy a bunch of things that you're never going to eat. If you don't like Spam, don't buy Spam. If you hate, pork and beans in a can, don't buy 10 cases of that, because it's going to sit there. Nobody's going to want to eat it. Start maybe stocking up on the little extra things that you use on a regular basis. If your kids love SpaghettiOs, maybe buy some extra ones. If nobody in your family likes green beans, but they all like canned corn, buy extra canned corn, and put it on your shelf. There's a lot of things you use on an everyday basis that could really help. Let's face it, you're gonna be using toilet paper the rest of your life. So having a few extra rolls on hand isn't gonna be a dumb investment. Most people brush their teeth every day. They use soap. Buy a little extra of that kind of things too. A lot of people forget about stuff like that. There's a lot of places that are gonna tell you, oh, you got to go buy 20 years worth of freeze-dried food. That's not a reality for a lot of people. A lot of people don't have that in their budget. And maybe you can get to that point. Maybe you can start your budgeting a little bit better. Maybe you can put a little bit aside, and you can eventually get to that. But start with the basics. But what I can say, just do something. If you make a pact with yourself that every time you go to the grocery store, you're going to buy 3 extra things to put in your pantry. to get you ahead of the game a little bit. Make sure you rotate it out. Don't just stick it in a shelf. Don't just stick it in a shelf there in your closet and forget about it. How I do things is we kind of rotate it through. We have the stuff that we use all the time, and that's the stuff that we use. We don't go buy. I don't have anything on my shelves that I do not eat, or that I do not use. You go, get an extra tube of toothpaste next time you go to the store. Maybe some extra soap, maybe some extra shampoo, whatever it is. Get yourself ahead of the game. There's a lot of little things you can do right off the bat that doesn't have to cost you a fortune. Don't go run up your credit cards, and don't go to the gun store and wipe out your retirement savings because you want to all the latest guns and ammo and all that kind of stuff. That's all well and good, but I'm betting a lot of you already have some of that stuff started. Start incorporating some of your hobbies into a preparedness plan. If you like to fish, go fishing. You can freeze fish. You can eat fresh fish. If you enjoy gardening, plan a little extra this year. Learn how to can, learn how to preserve food. A lot of stuff can be put in your freezer. You don't need a $500 canner to do that. You can get started with, just incorporate that into what you already do. Maybe you like to go for nature walks. While you're out, look and see if you can find, name some, trees. Maybe you can find some, black walnut trees or, things like that. Start small. Don't overwhelm yourself. Don't believe everybody that's telling you the world is going to end tomorrow, because nobody really knows that. Could end today, may never end. 100 years from now, we might all be sitting around here. Well, I definitely won't be sitting here 100 years from now, but they might be looking back in history books and saying, well, these people were crazy. They did all this stuff and nothing ever happened. Things just got better. And that's what we all hope for. I don't think any of us prepare because we want bad things to happen. We just want to kind of hedge our bets in case bad things happen. So don't let things overwhelm you. Don't follow all the people that are fear mongers. There's a lot of really good channels out there with some people that have some really good information. Everyday people just like you, that go to their job every day. They want the best for their families. And, they start small. And, pretty soon you might be surprised. Maybe you realize, well, I got some space here. I'd like to, grow a little more of my own food. Maybe go get a couple of chickens. You start raising some eggs. Maybe you have room for a cow. I don't know. It's all in what you want to get to. But just start doing something today, to make that better. Whether that's, maybe you buy a book, go on Amazon and buy a book about emergency preparedness or outdoor survival or whatever it is you want to do with this, whatever direction you want to take. But the best thing is just do something, get a plan in action. It doesn't have to be elaborate. It can be very simple. Start, and as you kind of go and as you start to see things starting to, you're starting to accumulate things and you're starting to learn new things. It can actually be, kind of give you a little bit of peace of mind, I guess, and maybe even a little bit of peace because, now you feel a little bit better. You don't have to run to the grocery store every day to pick up dinner. You can go downstairs and pull it out of your freezer or out, off your shelf. You have stuff there, and offset that in the summertime. Maybe you don't want to dive headfirst into canning. Maybe you've never planted a garden. Start small. Start some container gardens, maybe a couple raised beds, and just get it started. The best way to learn is to fail sometimes. I don't have successful every year in my garden every year. I had a problem this year. I lost a bunch of stuff for some reason. I have deer here. We have, groundhogs, rabbits, and sometimes things just don't take off. They don't grow, whatever it is. But the best way to do it is just learn, get out there and give it a shot. Try some different things. Don't go crazy buying a bunch of gear. Go around your house and see what you have already. You may be surprised to find it. You have an old dusty fishing pole down in the basement you haven't used for a while. Dust that thing off and go to the lake. Maybe try to catch a couple fish. If you're 100 years back, maybe you get back into that. It's another way to, definitely bring, put some food on the table or whatever. So there's a lot of things you can do. Don't let it overwhelm you, and don't believe all the people that are telling you that the sky is falling. It might, like I said, but there's a lot of people, there's a lot of good people out there that have some good information. Listen to them, and kind of get out of it what you want and what you think fits you best, without living in constant fear all the time that that something bad's going to happen tomorrow. So if I can say anything, it's just go get started. Just do something today, start today and just get a plan in action. Don't go crazy. Maybe set yourself a goal. Say, hey, I'm going to get a week's worth of extra food in the house, and I want a couple extra things. It could even be cleaning supplies. you're probably going to wash clothes the rest of your life. You know, maybe you can afford an extra laundry detergent, or, you know, dish soap or something like that. You're going to use these things forever. So having a little extra of them, because things are never going to be cheaper than they are right now. You know, so even if the only thing you want to do is prepare, you know, and get ahead of higher prices, you're doing it. And those same preparations are going to get you ready for other things. You know, maybe there's a power outage for a couple days. You know, maybe dig out your old camp stove and, you know, clean that up and say, okay, I'm going to have this ready in case the power goes out. You know, before you run out and buy, you know, diesel generators and, you know, 50 solar panels, start small. Do a little bit of research. See where, you know, kind of take it where you want to go. Read a little bit, research a little bit. You know, watch some different videos, and you know, see what them, you know, see where it takes you. I think that's the best advice I can give. So, you know, good luck. I hope you know, hope you take, if you get something out of this, please like and subscribe to the channel. If you have a good comment, you know, to leave, you know, and maybe a good suggestion that people can read and see. Sorry for the smoke. I'm sitting out here by the, I have a little fire going here, so it's pretty cold out here. But it was, sun was shining, so I wanted to get outside a little bit. But hey, thanks for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed this. Stick around. I got some other things coming down the pike here, that, you know, hopefully I can get you know, things going. Maybe show you some ways to do things inexpensively, and hopefully maybe use a little common sense or whatever, and, you know, show you, you know, talk about things that I do. So yeah, like I said, get out there, get it going, and I'll see you next video. Thanks.